Hello, Ray Lee with Speedboat Magazine here with another episode of the Boats and Bros podcast. And with me, as always, is my bro, Myrick Coyle. And today we have a superstar of sorts, especially in the pro watercraft world. We have champion Dustin Farthing. What's up, Dustin?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it
Oh,
tonight.
man, thanks for joining us.
That's cool having you.
Yeah, man.
When I looked it back at like some of your career stuff, it's like, holy shit, that's freaking awesome, man.
Yeah, and pretty awesome. We've got two monster athletes on the podcast with us today.
Yeah. Well, he's probably more of an athlete. I get strapped into a seat. He's actually got to hang on.
I watch some of the videos, man, that you guys in the powerboats. It's amazing. I did a lot of boating in my life, and I understand, it's more than just sitting there steering. That's for sure.
One of the things I was wondering is, where are you from?
So originally I'm from Stuart, Florida. I was born in Champaign, Illinois, and moved to Florida when I was about a year and a half old, and grew up in Stuart, Florida.
I was born in Peoria, Illinois, so about an hour away from Champaign. Pretty wild.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I grew up, my family grew up in a town of 800 people. So I'm a little glad that they moved to South Florida when I was a kid, because I don't know if my career path would have been the same today.
Yeah, you'd have been a farmer instead of a jet ski rider. And it's something you own, or a partners in a power sports, power sports or something like that too also, right?
Yeah, so that's what actually brought me to Georgia in 2010. I moved to Georgia to buy my first dealership, the Mountain Motorsports store, and was going to move back to Florida eventually. And one store led to six, and then six led to eight. And my kids got older, and I'm still in Georgia today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is cool.
How did you get into professional jet ski racing? I mean, I assume, like the rest of us, like pleasure watercrafting, and then on from there.
Yeah, so I'll give you a quick rundown. So when I was a kid, I got into riding motocross and three-wheelers and four-wheelers back in the 80s. Obviously, I was born 70s, but started racing three-wheelers and four-wheelers. Started racing mid 83, 84. Raced motocross all the way through till I was about 10 or 11. And my dad had like a repair shop at the time. And a guy came in and traded a old broken down jet ski in for something. And my dad fixed it up, and I started riding, and started going to the Causeway for fun. And, it just kind of led into the next thing. I started going to watch some races, and, it just really turned into watching it more than anything, and then just riding for fun, just like you guys said. And that kind of really just enjoyed being part of the racing scene, obviously. And then a watercraft side just was natural for Florida.
Yeah, makes sense. So when you're talking about your first jet ski, or the one that your dad took on trade, what was it?
It was a 93 550 Kawasaki 550 stand up.
Yeah. My kids just got a 750 here, and just this last summer, and they love it, even the little guys. But it's so much easier on these new big skis I'm sorry, not a 750, it's a 1500. It's the JS or SXR, I think is what it's called. And it's so big that my 7-year-old, he can literally get on it and it won't even tip over for him. And I was like, I tried to tell him about like what you're talking about, a 550. I was like, you had to get it going before you could even, get it to even attempt to stand up on it. But anyway.
Yeah, the top speed back, on the 550 days, the average stock ski ran 38, 40 miles an hour. Now you can buy them out of the box, right? Like that JS 1500 you're talking about. That particular ski will run 62, 63 miles an hour stock.
Yeah, I know. I went out in it and crashed a few times, and came back to the dock and had a beer and watched the kids go do it.
It's awesome though for kids. I'm sure your kids love it, man. When I got into it, it kind of hooked you, just like you said. We just started pleasure riding, and growing up in motocross my entire life, it's I really enjoyed racing. And then just being in Florida, you're obviously around a lot of water. And to be honest with you, my dad took me to the first race, and there was a beach, and I was a young 13, 14-year-old kid, and there was bikini contest and beach
Oh,
and all
yeah.
kinds of stuff. And I was hooked. And
Yeah.
from then on, I said, you can make a living at this. People are going to pay you to do this. Sign me up, man. And I've been full blast 35 years into it.
Oh, that's cool. So, did you ever race stand-ups professionally?
Yeah, so actually, I raced stand ups probably the first 10 years of my career. Back in the early days, there wasn't much sit down stuff. There was some Sea-Doos in the early days, but the majority of the watercraft racing was all stand up class. And it's still a lot of stand up class today. But, back when they first signed me at Yamaha in '93, we were racing Yamaha stand ups back then, and all the manufacturers were making stand ups at that time. So yeah, we all started on stand-ups, and we raced stand-ups pretty much for a 10-year period. And then, as just like anything, right? The market changes, the industry changes, the manufacturers started selling, 1,500, 2,000 stand-ups a year compared to 45, 50,000 sit-down watercraft per manufacturer. So the funds and the sponsorship started going a different direction. For me, it wasn't more that I liked one over the other. It was just, what the sponsors really wanted us to focus on.
That's cool.
Did you find like immediate success crossing over from the motocross world into jet ski racing?
It's funny you asked that. I just had a guy ask me the other day and was like, "Oh, is it a natural flow?" Riding was, but the first year and a half of my career, as great as a career I've had, I've won 27 professional championships in my career all over the world. And the first year and a half of my life was a very difficult learning experience. I thought I was really good until I started going to some of these races, and what I thought was good for a local talent was nowhere near where I needed to be. And I went probably a year, at least a year, and never even finished in the top five. And some races, for example, back in the early days when I was first starting, like a class that I was racing in, there would be 60 racers in one particular class trying to qualify down to the final 15 for the main event. And
That's
there was a
cool.
lot of times I didn't qualify, one of my early days. And I would go home, we'd race one race, two races on a weekend. And, I'd be back home. My dad would be driving me back home at 14 years old, disappointed that I didn't make it. Right. But I think one of those lessons, right, that you learn as life, right, is that, nowadays you get a participation trophy for a lot of things. And when I was a kid, and I'm sure when you guys were kids, it wasn't like that. You had to sink or swim. About a year's time, man, I realized that, if I wanted to hang out at a bikini contest and go on the beach, I needed to figure this thing out quick.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what was one of the biggest things that you, other than experience, uh, made it go from not qualifying to, now you're running up
Yeah,
front?
yeah, your breakthrough moment.
I think, it really came down to I really kind of put my focus, and I was riding a lot when I was a kid and I was young, but I really, it got beaten a bunch of times and went home. And, then, on the weekends, kind of didn't go hang out with my friends. I wasn't old enough to drive at that time, right? And my dad was working. So I had some friends that were a couple of years older than me, and, kind of talked those guys into coming to pick me up to take me to places I could ride. I was riding. My dad would take me sometimes in the morning before school. I'd be going to school at 8, 9 o'clock or whatever time school started, which grade I was in. And I would go put in 45 minutes an hour, and I was making little buoys like milk jugs, spray painting them to get colors. And I would go set them up in the morning. I'd ride for 45 minutes before school. I'd go to school, and then I'd come home and ride an hour after school. And it really, I try to explain to my son what I really did to get to that next level, and it was really just a complete dedication to get there.
Yeah. That's cool. It reminds me, there'll be I go out to Havasu a lot to do stuff with Ray and other boating stuff. And I'll be at the Nautical Inn, and it'll be like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'll see that little what do they call it? Something beach across the way, and there's just
Body
Body
beach.
Beach.
Body Beach,
Yep.
and it's like,
Yeah.
God, them guys are out there all the time, kind of deal.
Ripping it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 o'clock in the morning, we're usually at Body Beach. Yeah, if we want to practice, we want rough water, right? But if we're just like you guys testing props or doing things like that, we want to get smooth water where we can get GPS runs and
Good number.
tack runs and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Dustin, it sounds like you were as a teenager, you were self motivated rather than obviously you had the support of your dad and your parents, I assume, but it was more you pushing yourself as opposed to your dad making you do that stuff.
Yeah, it's really funny, man. My dad is the opposite of me. He's a really low key guy. I mean, he raced flat track for fun, kind of when he was younger, and he was really into racing and kind of was around it, right? But not like professionally by any means. When I got started, he kind of just same with motocross. I'd always had like a very obsessive personality, and my wife always, jokes around about it that I don't know how to do anything just 5% or 10%, and so just like when I went into the dealership business or anything, right? I was just so like over the top. I have to be fully committed at that point. And when I went into watercraft, myself, I didn't need like my dad. A lot of these guys nowadays, right? They need somebody to tell them, hey, go train, go do this, go practice. And I was so obsessed that to just be the best. And, obviously there was a financial thing that I wanted to get to, but I'm just a competitive person. And I just want to beat everyone on whatever I'm doing, whether it's a business thing or racing. And I'm such an obsessive person about that it really consumed me.
Yeah,
Well, that's cool.
that's awesome. Speaking of Havasu, that I met you for the first time just a few months
Yeah.
ago at the Jet Ski World Finals in Lake Havasu, and I was just telling Myrick, boy, your setup, Monster Energy, and your whole pit is insane. I mean, Myrick and MCon, Monster Energy, their pit setup in the offshore races is second to none, and I think you might have bested them. It was very
Yeah.
impressive.
Well, especially all the boats they have. We just have one big boat or sometimes two, but they have,
Yeah.
I don't know how many skis you guys take, but it's.
Yeah, so on the endurance series that we kind of race with the powerboat guys, we don't really set up our awning a lot of the times, because of space restraints. But at the World Championships, we set up our big awning, and just like the MCon guys do, and but then we also bring a lot of other stuff, for that event. We like at that particular event that you came to, Ray. We have two semi trucks. We have our Yamaha watercraft semi truck as well as our Monster Energy Farthing Racing semi truck. It's a pretty big display. It's a big event for us. We're, really activated at that event as far as showing out for the fans, as well as like Myrick said, a lot of watercraft on display, and they have one boat where we have probably 10 or 15 on a weekend.
I remember New Orleans when you guys were down there.
Yeah.
You had this setup, man. That was dope.
Yeah, and the same with you guys. I mean, we're unbelievably impressed with the powerboat stuff, and before I kind of got into racing the endurance stuff with the powerboat guys, right? I kind of heard like over the years, it's like, oh, the watercraft guys, have a hard time with powerboat, and powerboat have a hard time with watercraft because schedules and stuff. And honestly, the first couple of years that I did it, right, because I was racing a lot of closed course racing around the world and not doing a lot of endurance stuff that was together with the powerboats. But in 22, I came to the powerboat stuff, and it's been unbelievable, man. We had an unbelievable experience. Everybody's been welcoming, and we try to respect everybody that we're racing with, right, and understand that everybody's got their own class and their own time, and you guys deserve all that, right? And we got to be out of your way. And but we see like the displays like you guys have, MCon, and some of the other companies that we've seen, and it's just incredible to see. And that's what we strive to be in watercraft, and supercross and other events that we've been a part of.
Yeah, it's cool to go to those different events and different venues. I've been fortunate enough with Monster to go and see all the hospitality stuff at the Forces, and when they took us up to St.
Yeah.
Louis and Brittany Force and John Force. I mean, I walk in there, I'm like, talk about hospitality. They have a truck just for hospitality, if
Yeah.
not two. I mean, it's mind blowing to me. But yeah, that is cool. I've definitely, and I enjoy going watching you guys race. I know some when it's rougher. Like at Sheboygan, I was really interested because it was wind was
Yeah.
blowing in there. Michigan City, I went out there and because I want obviously I'm just the opposite. I like calm water races the older I get as a driver, but if I want to go watch a race, I want that fucking rough water stuff.
Yeah, and
Funny.
that's what we for watercraft, right, you got just like you said, you got a little bit of both, right? You got racers, some racers that like flat water because they didn't grow up in the rough, but me personally growing up in Florida, live for the rough water, right? 10, 15, 12 foot slop, wind blowing 10 different directions and I race like for example, you guys are boat guys and we race like a race in Guadeloupe down in the French Caribbean every year, right? And it's 500 miles on a watercraft in the middle of the ocean in 3 days.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
So your legs and hamstrings back, in 500 miles, and you'll come around the island. It'll be smooth on one side of the island, and you come around right, and it could be, you know, uh, 8, 10, 12 feet on one side of the island, and you got 60 miles, 70 miles to go to the next checkpoint for fuel, and there is no turning back. And it kind of goes back to what you guys said about how do you push yourself, and right at that point there is nobody, your dad's not there, your teammates not there, no one's there to push you, man. You got 60 miles and you better dig deep and keep going, because the faster you go, the quicker you get to the checkpoint, right? You get to be done, and you got to dig deep on those things.
I've said that about a lot of throttlemen. I was like, if your throttleman in the boat is not an animal ready just to rip the throttles off, I mean, it's one of those things that you're going to get beat.
Yeah, exactly. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine strapping in, being strapped into a boat, right? And being stuck in that one position and not being able to move for,
Yeah.
a 30-minute race and 10-foot waves.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. I don't know. It obviously it depends a lot on direction of the wind and everything, because it does suck if you got like a 4 mile straightaway and you're taking them a quartering sea the whole time. You got this big ass boat that doesn't doesn't correct like a jet ski as much. And yeah, I actually
And we can use our legs, right, to, kind of like
absorb.
shock absorbers,
Yeah.
where you guys, don't have that, right? You're just whatever
Yeah.
the boat's taking you is what you're getting.
Yeah, and being in the seat and locked in, you start to. I mean, what happens is just the compression will get you after a while, but uh, I don't know. It's the sharp ones. It's the big rollers aren't bad. It's just landing in the middle of one or casing one. Is
jarring ones. Yeah,
just jars you. Yeah, sometimes
So
I'm like, I wish I had a mouthpiece.
I would
Do you guys
assume, like
race with a
Myrick,
mouthpiece?
no, we
No.
don't. I would assume, Myrick, that you like when it's rolling like smooth between the waves, right? And it's you can get some good air, but then land and got a nice smooth run when it's between it, right? Not like wind chop blowing.
I always when I'm watching the forecast, and we're looking for the separation of waves, whether it's 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 7 seconds, but the bigger the gap, the better, because a lot of the time you can get in that trough and run that trough and then correct and fly it. So got a little guy.
Yeah.
Got a little 7-year-old here. Say hi.
There you go. What's up, man? So Myrick, like you're obviously steering, right? Are you controlling any other parts of the boat, or just on the hand control?
No, just my mouth, which it's good that I'm a talker, because what I'm doing is I'm telling him, hey, it feels this way or it feels that way.
Yeah.
And I have to express everything that I feel so that he can make the right decision. Because if I wasn't, he's just going off of, what he's feeling, which the wheel, just like your handlebars, how much your handlebars dictate, the trim, where you need it. If like there's times where we'll go into a corner, say if we're going to a corner and it's the wind's blowing up the nose of the boat and he doesn't set it up with like bringing the trim in and slamming the nose, it'll just push right through the turn, and I know that it doesn't do any good to even put any wheel into it. So at that point I'll be like, it tighten me up, get out of it. And it's way easier in the rough to do that stuff than in the calm, because in the calm it's like you're going so fast that it's like you got to do everything so quick. It's like, okay, we're at the buoy, slam the nose, get through it. When it's in the rough, you're kind of just making it through there so you can then try to make up your ground through the rough water. But yeah.
So
it's been said that these two, between Myrick and his cockpit partner Tyler Miller, that they have some of the best communication with one another that anybody has
Randy Sisson
heard.
gave us those kudos. We were racing for him in one of his factory 500 boats this year, and he's like, I've never heard two people give each other as much input as you guys do. And I was like, well, really? That's cool. It's cool to like have one of the icons in power sport and power boating, just like you and jet skis or watercraft, and telling you you're good at something. I mean, it's like,
and he's from MTI, correct?
Yeah. He's the founder of MTI, and he's himself has been a veteran champion offshore racer for years too. So he knows what he's saying. He's been around. So that's a big compliment to these two guys.
So do you keep old boat? I'll get off the subject. I think about this, and I it doesn't happen in the powerboat world as much as like, hey, there's the 2000 or say the 2002 winning bike, and you have it over there in the corner. Our boats are $1 million, so you sell it so you can gain more money to get the next one. But do you have any of your old bikes that are like just sitting around that you're like, this is like a trophy case almost of old equipment?
Oh yeah, if you check out some of my videos, I probably have probably 80 of my skis kept over the years. And when
I thought you were going to say 8.
No, I have most of my championship boats and a lot of my skis over the years. So in my early days, I was riding for back then, like other companies and shops and manufacturers like Kawasaki and Yamaha, and then I don't know, maybe mid 2000s, late 2000s, 2010 range. I went out and decided I wanted to have my own teams at that point, and had enough backing and support from the manufacturers and rode for those guys long enough that they knew that I had the business experience to run my own teams, as well as the mechanics and the crew and the shops, and be able to do that. So we were able to replicate exactly what the factories were doing. And the factories, like currently, we are the factory Yamaha team, where back in the day it kind of used to be run in house, where now the manufacturers fund us to, we run that factory team for them. There is no factory in-house team. So my shop, for example, is located a half a mile from Yamaha's facility here in Kennesaw, Georgia.
That's cool.
So I have a lot of those skis, even back in the day when I was riding for example, let's say Kawasaki 2003. I have my world championship boat that I won Thailand on, and I have my world championship boat from that year. I have my national championship ski from other years, and all that stuff is on display in my shop throughout different places around my shop, hanging from the ceilings or race shop areas at different places.
Yeah.
I got like cool. I have a 14,000 square foot facility that's kind of like all my trophies. I have every helmet, probably 150 helmets. Every helmet, I've never gotten rid of a helmet. Every one of them's on display. All my trophies, I have everything.
That's so cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How often do you get a new helmet? Every season or every race?
Yeah, we go through about 4 to 5 a season. It's funny, we were just on the phone. I don't know if my phone cut out for a second. The screen went off for a minute, but it was actually AP Designs. Alex Paul from AP is been one of my best friends for 30 years. And he was actually the first helmet painter that painted for my helmet in 1992. And he was just calling me on the line just now, trying to beep in while we were talking. So we do 4 or 5 helmets a year with him.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I think
Does he paint your guys' stuff,
I think that
Myrick?
I think he's done. I think he did the last 2 sets. I do believe so. Tyler has that done, but I know that he said he went with who Monster suggested, and I think it was probably your recommendation that got it done.
Yeah. Yeah, AP does about 1,500 helmets a year for Monster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
the
a
last.
joke.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
He did a
we
great
got a
job.
chance to have Tyler come out and race watercraft with us in Daytona. He
Yeah,
he was very confident when he got there, and then when he left, he was questioning his muscles and back.
yeah, I
Yeah.
bet. I
He told me that he'd
saw a
never been
picture
that
of him
sore his
skipping.
entire life.
Oh, I bet not. I bet not.
Yeah, yeah, he definitely had a good skip across the water.
Yeah.
Like away from the mic, like this.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I've got pictures.
Ray, I'll send you the pictures. It's definitely we
Yeah.
have. There's a sequence of events that they got. They got the whole sequence of events that happened.
Amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I actually sold jet skis when I was in college in Peoria,
Oh, really?
Illinois. I sold Sea-Doo and Kawasaki, and the Kawasaki's didn't sell anything like the Sea-Doos, but it was so
No.
it would have been like 96, 95, 96, and it was like the GSX was really hot then. The XP
Yep.
was the new shock seat. I liked the XPs before that, but it was like that new
96
age
XPs.
yeah. So
You recently told a story.
What's that?
Mark told a story on a recent podcast of like one of his worst crashes ever on anything was on a jet ski.
Was on a it was a Kawasaki 1100, and I dumped it like it wide open. They ended up like making this little fiberglass piece that they sent like a recall to put on the nose of it so that they didn't just bow hook out of nowhere. And
Yeah, they were having a problem with pump stuff, and the Yamaha. It was probably a Kawasaki. I would bet it was a Kawasaki ZXI 1100.
It was, yeah.
They were known to pump stuff, and when the pump stuff happens on a watercraft, the water goes into the pump cavity, and water goes through the pump, and it can't process and get it out fast enough.
Well, yeah, and it sent me. I went straight, and the ski went sideways, and
that's exactly what happens.
Oh, I'd never heard of.
So it wasn't your fault.
I've been
so that's
pump
good.
stuffed.
Yeah. So if anybody ever says, "Hey, did you ever fall off a watercraft?" you can say, "Yes, I've been pump stuffed off of one." That's a very common thing in watercraft.
Man,
he said
if you guys,
go
ahead.
Would you have to check for my?
Yeah, so I was just wearing, like when you're a teenager, you wear gym shorts and boxers, when you're out jet skiing, not like a smart kid. And I fucking had to look and see if my junk was still there. And I literally, I was so far away from the ski. This was on the Illinois River. I was so far away from the ski, a pontoon boat had to pull me back to the ski. Because it was in current, and I just immediately like limped home on it, put it on the trailer, and went home. It wasn't like thinking I was gonna go riding anymore that day.
You guys should Google. I don't know if you've ever seen they have a drag race watercraft series, and there's some guys that have come off with the pump stuff like you're talking about at 130, 140.
Wow.
I don't know if you've ever seen the video, but you'll watch. There's literally a guy that'll skip for probably 300 feet on top of the water at 100 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You got to Google it and check it out sometime. It'll blow your mind.
I've seen some of those that I think what you're talking about, them guys are just going for high speed. It's like got a Busa motor in there with a turbo on it or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So the endurance series that we race with you guys, for example, that's more of like a spec class, but like, when I saw Ray, you at Havasu, that's more of our closed course racing, which is kind of like a motocross track. It's a very smaller track, not a long, the endurance track is maybe 8 turns, where closed course will be maybe 35 turns. But for example, the ski that I race on that track in Havasu, that ski is, for example, 600 pounds, 650 horsepower, and will go 0 to 60 in 1.7 seconds at over 100 miles an hour.
Oh my God,
Wow.
that sounds cool.
Yeah. And like for example, a turn, like, we got Motec and all the stuff like to data log and everything. And I mean, when you go into the first turn on one of those, that particular ski in Havasu, Ray, like you saw, I mean, you're 6, 7 G's, no problem turning on those things.
I mean, obviously the arm pump has got to be crazy
Yeah.
through a race.
But it's kind of one of those things, Meyer, just like, right, like you, like if I got in a boat, right, would be tight on the wheel and, got rough, you're going to tighten up, right? For me, racing a long time, I get a lot of people that start racing and the same thing. They're tired after 5 or 10 minutes because they're holding on so tight. They're not using their body. Where for me, man, you'll watch like GoPro videos of me, like on boards where I'm firing the camera at me. And you'll see like when I have the hands on the handlebars in the turns, I like let go like this, because your body's used to it and you've been doing it for so long that it's effortless. You're holding on with your legs and, you kind of just learn to flow and the arm pump kind of goes away over time.
Yeah. It's funny. There's a lot of guys that will come to me because they've watched a video of me racing and they'll be like, man, you don't wear a neck brace or you don't wear gloves. And I was like, yeah, I don't like all that stuff, and they're like, it weirds them out. Like I don't have all this equipment on. I was like, I feel like I can feel it better and, things like that. And it is cool to, have the ways that you do something and know that it works and just go along with it instead of following the masses that the way they might do it.
You don't wear gloves either?
No, I don't wear gloves.
That's wild.
Everything gets soggy and and it's just I don't know. I have an Alcantara steering wheel, which is kind of absorbs. It's a Lawn Acre, which is a really nice steering wheel. But yeah, for some reason, I mean, I don't know. I just don't like wearing them. I think it's probably because it's just hot.
Do you guys take a lot of water in through the cab at all?
No. If you're in a rooster tail for a long time, you might get some drips in around the canopy, but you're not going. I mean, the biggest thing is just that how much you're sweating in there.
Yeah,
two guys in a little cockpit, and it's a black boat, and it's already 100 degrees outside. We do have a lot of fans on us, and that helps, but. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you guys when you're running and stuff, it's pulling air inside, or you got fans that are running?
So usually, say for example, like Key West, you get in the boat, you can see the thermometer; it's about 106, and by the time you're done running, it might be like 98, 97, 98. But it's crazy that during the race you don't even notice it. When you're sitting there waiting for the race, you're like, man, this sucks. I'm gonna overheat, but then as soon as the green flag goes, you don't feel it.
Yeah, you don't even think about it. So what's the one thing that maybe it's just test days or different things like on power boating, right? I'll see sometimes you guys with full length like fire suits, but then sometimes I'll see guys or test guys with like short leg type fire suits. What's the deal with that?
It depends on the class rules, and class one likes it. They like the professional look. They
the
like
full fire suit.
Yeah. So, and to be honest, I bitch about them all the time, but
he does.
just because I like the flow of air around me, especially since I'm sitting in this little bubble, But no, but class one requires you to have them. And then when I do see like the podium with all of us with all our garb on, I'm like, yeah, that looks badass. But
it looks nice. Yeah.
So
I just didn't know if there was like a fire restriction where sometimes you had to have it and sometimes you didn't, because I've seen different things and I wasn't sure on that.
Yeah. So it's pretty much class. It's class, and then sponsor preference too can dictate it.
Of course.
So,
of course.
Yeah. Speaking of sponsor, when we were in Havasu together, we were hanging with Dave Gallen, the monster guru, and he said, he's awesome. He said that you are like one of the longest standing monster athletes in their stable.
Yeah, this will be my 18th. This will be my 18th year.
Jeez. Wow. I didn't even know monsters around for that long.
Yeah, so actually it's funny. My first boss at Monster was Terry Sachs, which is Rodney Sachs, the owner of Monster's daughter. She was actually my first boss. So, like Myrick, obviously, you know how Casey is the person now for
Yeah.
boats and watercraft.
Yeah.
The owner's daughter was my boss for the first 5 years of my career
Yeah. There was
with them. Yeah,
that's cool.
she was that person. So I actually you'll get a kick out of this. I've been there this long that I did I don't know if you guys have ever heard about the Gumball Rally car event that goes around the world.
Okay.
So I did the Gumball Rally with Rodney's daughter from London to New York City, 3,000 miles in 7 days in a car.
So
Yeah,
how
Monster
does
was
that work?
Monster sponsored that. It was a Monster event, and it was me. And I don't know if you guys probably would because you guys are about my age. But do you guys
Yeah.
remember the show Silver Spoons?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Ricky
So it was
Schroeder.
me.
Ricky
It was me and
Schroeder.
Ricky Schroeder in a car together with Terry. It was so we started in London. They started in London. We went from London to Amsterdam, Amsterdam to Sweden. We went to a couple places in Europe. They loaded the cars on an airplane. In all the cars, there was 80 different cars and people, drivers, 2 drivers per car. They loaded the cars on a big airplane that could haul cars, like 3 or 4 different planes for the cars. They flew us from Sweden to Bangor, Maine. Every single person, they chartered the flight. There was nobody else on the flight besides us. We landed in Bangor, Maine. We went from Bangor, Maine to Boston, Boston to Toronto, I'm sorry, Quebec to Toronto, and then Toronto to New York City.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah,
How long did this take? Like a week?
7 days.
Yeah.
7 days. Yeah.
Wow.
And it
What kind
was
of car?
it was an Aston Martin DB9.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's yeah, so I've been there so long, man, that we were doing like crazy stuff like that back when they've done a lot of cool stuff over my lifetime. And it's crazy to a lot of people say, hey man, you live and breathe Monster, but they've truly been one of the best companies that I've ever been a partner with. And I went through some different times in my career, right, where I was focused on building my dealerships over the years, and times where I was only racing 4 or 5 different events a year. And I went to them over my career and said, hey, I'm not racing as many events as what I had in the previous years. And I'm okay if you guys want to renegotiate contracts and stuff. And they said, don't worry about it, man. We support you, and you're part of the family. And we know that you do enough marketing and social media and events and stuff for us that it doesn't matter to us. You're a lifelong Monster Energy athlete. So I've truly been blessed. And now my both of my sons are actually Monster Energy athletes for them as well.
Yeah, I met
That's
your one
awesome.
son. He came out and hung around the pits with us. I
Yeah.
think it was New Orleans. He hung out with us quite
Yeah.
a bit.
That's my older one. Yep.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah, he had a
badasses
good time.
too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they're knocking down wins and championships.
Yeah, both of them are amazing. My son, actually, you guys were asking, my oldest one races the stand-up class. He races the endurance stuff on the Powerboat series. And then he also races the pro ski stand-up, which are the fastest stand-ups that are out there, 75-mile-an-hour stand-ups. And then my younger son's races like a pro-am type pro class as well, but different category.
How old is he?
He's 19. One's 22 and the other one's 19. And they're both college students at University of Tennessee. One
nice.
is going to school the older one wants to own dealerships, just like I do. And my youngest one is going to school to be a sports agent.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
So he'll have a law degree for our dealership stuff, and hopefully he can bring in some more sponsorship dollars to the teams.
Yeah.
I mean, it must run in the blood, but they must be hyper competitive with one another.
They are. My younger one's a little less hyper competitive. He's competitive, but he's not as. My older one is the spitting image of me. If you were drinking a glass of water, he would want to be the first one done with the glass of water, just to say he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he
He,
came over to our pits, I think his hair
yeah.
was like dyed green or blonde with maybe green in it, no shirt on. I was like,
Yeah.
this kid's living life to the fullest. You could tell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's like when I was a kid, that's exactly the same as me, man. It was, that was the era of Dennis Rodman, right? The different color hair, and I was
yeah,
living, that kind of lifestyle, and
earrings and
Yeah.
exactly.
yeah,
I had
yeah.
different color hair every race, and that's what I was known for. And he's kind of followed in that footsteps, and
Oh, I
it's
think
crazy
his
because he
actually was like a cheetah. I think it was.
cheetah.
Yeah,
That's it, a
he had a
With the
cheetah.
cheetah.
spots on
Yeah,
his head.
cheetah print. Yeah,
Oh, that
Yeah,
is total Rodman.
yeah. It
yeah.
was like cheetah
Yeah.
print. Yeah,
Yeah, he was very similar to what I was as a kid, but I was kind of, when I was growing up, right, weren't really friends with your competitors. We didn't race. We were friends with people that raced, but not in your actual category. Where these younger kids, like my son and stuff, they're friends with a lot of these people now. And, I have a hard time. I'm like, all right, we're going to be friends with this guy, but we're racing against him. And I just, for me, I just want to beat everyone, man. It was kind of a little different learning curve.
yeah. It's like,
So to
yeah,
the
if you buddy up with him too much, you won't want to take him out. And
yeah,
Yeah.
don't talk to him.
Yeah.
Get
yeah,
over here.
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey, I didn't, that was for me. I was like, when you're on the race, there is no friends at that point.
yeah.
So with that, I mean, is your fathering style more competitive like your, or is it a little more laid back like your dad was, or is it a combination of both?
No, it's probably the opposite of my dad. I'm a little,
Yeah,
Aggro.
yeah, yeah.
yeah, my wife tells me all the time that she has to walk away from me when the kids are racing because she's trying to video, and I'm trying to coach from the beach when they can't hear me anyways. And
Yeah.
I'm like, go, what are you doing there? Go. And
Yeah.
she's like, I can't even video because nobody wants to hear you. But yeah, so I'm
That's a typical wife comment. That's
yeah,
what my wife would say too. You sound so dumb.
yeah. It's I try to be a little more like my dad at times, but unfortunately, I just
It just
haven't
comes out.
mas- I haven't mastered what my dad had.
Yeah. The woosah, woosah.
No, he was so good. He was so good at it that I just don't know how he did it.
Yeah.
So Dustin, are you retired or just scaling back on racing, or what's your status now?
So I currently not retired. I race 2 or 3 races a year still. We race Thailand, some of the international stuff, China this year, Thailand. I'll race the Lake Havasu with the IHRA Lake Havasu event, our final world championship of the new IHRA series. A smaller scale of events.
Yeah, it's cool. You get to pick and choose the ones that you like and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
This is
to
my
that,
35th year.
Yeah. That's a
wow,
lot.
that's amazing. And to
Yeah.
that, congratulations on being named managing director of the Pro Watercraft Series for IHRA. That's huge.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. It's been an awesome experience, unbelievable team. I can't thank everybody at IHRA enough, Daryl and Tommy and Leah and Justin and everybody that I work with, your Ray, yourself, obviously, and everybody's kind of been so supportive and helping with the PWC side and really kind of give me free reign, right, to kind of build the series the way that I see, that PWC racing should be structured. And it's been unbelievable to have that experience, with Thomas Covington and these guys just pretty much saying, hey Dustin, what in a perfect world, if you could build the ultimate watercraft racing series under the IHRA umbrella, what would you do?
Yeah.
That's
And I
dope.
know you've been working hard on doing that.
Smart of them too to get a guy that's done it for 35 years and seeing the ups and downs and the things that make you excited and all that. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, I think just like Myrick and Ray, both of you guys, right? You guys have seen a lot in your day, right? And you know what's important to racers and what's important to those fans. And I'm trying to try to explain to everybody that it's a learning curve as we go, right? And we're going to learn things that are important and more important as we go. But you also got to stay focused on what I know the racers want, because I'm a racer at heart, but I also have run lots of businesses and dealerships and uh, construction companies and a lot of stuff that I've been personally invested in over my lifetime. And, I'm a really hands-on owner. And just like I said, not being able to be OCD about these things and be in control of a lot of stuff. And so, I really want to build the series, and I put a lot of time into what I envision to be the perfect series.
So
That's
can
cool.
you walk us through, or is it one of your races would look like?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. So we have two different venues right throughout the season. Four of our races this year will run with the power boats, and on that particular schedule with the power boats, we have some classes that'll run on Friday. We have a scale of about 3 or 4 classes that'll run on Friday. And then on Saturday, we have some mixed in classes throughout the weekend with the power boats that'll kind of start in the morning, kind of mix in, lunchtime, and then mix in again at the end of the day. And the same pretty much on Sunday. And then we have 3 events throughout the year also that are watercraft only events. And the national championship is a 3-day watercraft event that is, a lot of different classes. We have sometimes as many as 50 different classes, from stand up to sit downs, from beginner class to novice, what we call novice, which would be your amateur. And then it goes up to expert and pro, different CC limits, different engine modifications allowed. And then we get to our world championship in Lake Havasu, which is our world event, obviously. And it's called the World Cup event. We have people from all over the world that'll come to that event, and that particular event will look around approximately 300 to 400 racers at that event. A lot of those racers are racing multiple classes, so it's as many as 600 to 800 entries in a 5-day period.
Wow. I've been fortunate enough to go and see that and actually sit out there on a pontoon boat and watch it from the outside looking in. It was pretty cool.
Okay, cool. What year was that?
Not last
2
year,
years
the
ago.
year before, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Matter of fact,
Cool.
Myrick had just left town the same morning that I met you, Dustin, because we do our speedboat West Coast performance evaluations in Havasu around that same time. And Myrick had just left town, but 2 years ago we stuck around and hung out on a pontoon. And in the evening time where they do the freestyling by the London Bridge,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's always a cool show. Are they different
Awesome.
type of athletes, jet ski riders, than what you guys do, or do they do the freestyle and race?
No, most of the free. So there's 2 different avenues on that side as well, right? You got the freestyle guys, which are doing the majority of the freestyle guys are doing like the tricks and stuff like you watch under the London Bridge, flat water freestyle trick guys. And then you have a lot of the what they call free ride guys, which are like surf guys that you can find on social media that are doing the big surf free ride events. And not many watercraft guys that are racers do freestyle. You get a little bit, a couple here and there, like myself, right? Like I love to go free ride in the surf and jump big waves and do tricks and things like that. But I don't compete in the freestyle or free ride competitions.
Yeah. It's got to be awesome. So I've never been fortunate enough to ride a jet ski or free ride in the ocean. I've done it behind a lot of sea rays and stuff here, big blue waters on Lake of the Ozarks, to where you could, I don't know, maybe get 8 foot out of the water. Back in the day, the skis were way better for it. Something with a little twin engine 2-stroke or a twin cylinder 2-stroke. Now everything's so heavy, it's harder to jump than what they used to, be like. But it's got to be awesome to go out there in the ocean. I'm going to have to go look up. You have free ride videos out there when you're like so high in the air that don't think you'll even come down.
Yeah, I'll send you some videos, man, that you'll be blown away. I think of myself a pretty good free ride rider, but I can send you some videos of some of these guys. There's a guy named Abraham that's from Mexico, and he's you ever seen that competition where it's like the biggest wave surfing in the world? It's over in like Spain or somewhere.
Yeah.
So this guy goes and stays over there, and I've seen him ride 30 30, 35 foot surf, and he's doing triple backflips, back re-entries into the face of these waves in 20 and 30 foot waves.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
It'll blow your mind. Like I'm a watercraft guy through and through. And like I said, I've ridden, for example, we race in Australia. Like the year my youngest son was born, we had a race in Australia that was 15, 18 foot waves. And, so we were used to riding in big stuff. And there's got stuff that these guys doing that they're kind of doing nowadays that even blows my mind.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it a long time.
Yeah. One thing
Yeah.
that
So
really,
I'll send you guys some links.
yeah, please, because I'll cut these into the podcast. But the thing
Yeah.
that impresses me about your whole community and your world is that the fans are just fanatical about it. I mean, the crowds that come out to watch and support all of the racing stuff was insane, especially in Havasu. It was mind blowing how big of an event it was in the pits there, and it just grew throughout the weekend.
Yeah, and this year it's even going to be better. Over the last couple of years, I wasn't not the biggest fan of the Crazy Horse venue, right? It's a little difficult for fans to get into, right? Because back in the day we used to race at the Nautical, which was awesome because the fans could park 5 feet away and walk into the venue and come through the gates. Where the Crazy Horse is a little difficult, where you got to park up above, take a tram thing down to it. So we did lose a little bit of fans, but back in the day at the Nautical, we were getting 15, 20,000 fans at one time to come watch a watercraft race. And, we're going to move it this year to a different venue with the IHRA. And, we're working with Monster to try to get some freestyle motocross, some mountain bike or some BMX skateboarding, some other things going on that I think will really catapult this year with the IHRA series for the World Championship in September.
This podcast is powered by Speedboat Magazine. Subscribe now at speedboat.com for 9 power-packed current issues a year direct to your mailbox.